Author Tom Callaghan's book entitled Kodiak, King of the Grizzlies, mixes natural science with war and fantasy to create a roller coaster adventure with many surprising twists. And this morning we welcome Tom Callaghan to Daytime Tri-Cities. Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you, Chris. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I was reading the synopsis of your book, and it sounds very, very intriguing to me. If you can, just give us a short overview of what the book is all about.
Well, it was originally written as a children's story, but it's written in a mature way. I started as a campfire story when I was running a chess camp, talking about the bears that lived up at Big Bear Mountain. And basically, it turned into the kids wanted the story expanded, and we ended up adding a lot of information about the mountains and the bears. But the bears were hunted down to extinction about 100 years ago, the California grizzly bears. There are no more California grizzlies in California, just the brown bears and the black bears. It took about 70 years for the government to kill them all, but this book tells the untold story of that war and introduces a new character, Kodiak, who came from the great creator to help save the bears and teach them communication skills so they could survive and coexist with humans. However, they never got a chance, and all the bears were destroyed back in 1920. It's been 100 years since we had any grizzly bears left in California. And when I finished the book, I was surprised to hear that the federal government just approved to allow the North American grizzly to be reintroduced into the California Sierras. So the grizzlies are coming back. But basically, it's a story that talks about a journal that a boy finds, and he reads the journal, and it's his uncle, a grizzly hunter, and it talks about the early pioneer days of how the grizzly hunters would actually do their job of hunting down all the grizzlies.
When you were putting this story together, I know you said it started out as a campfire story. You had to flesh this story out. Talk to me about that process of going from a campfire story to a completed novel or a completed book.
Yeah, it took a lot of stretch of the imagination. I had to backfill and add a lot of the backstory. But the more I did research, the more I found out that I wasn't far off from the truth of what was really happening up at Big Bear Mountain. So it kind of wrote itself.
Did you have to go and do a lot of research as far as bears were concerned, or is this something you grew up with, or just how do you I guess you got to get inside the fur of a bear a little bit for this story?
Yeah, I've been a mountaineer my whole life, and I've seen a lot of bears and had interactions with bears. But no, I did not do a lot of research. It's funny, when I wrote the book, it pretty much just streamed out, and then I went back to check to see how far off I was from the truth. So I kind of did the research after I wrote the book, and then went back and tweaked it.
You know, looking at your bio, you've worn a lot of hats over your career. Has all of these kind of got you to this point to where you could put a book together like this?
Well, definitely working with children for the last 10 years really improved my storytelling technique. As you know, I'm a chess teacher, and I've been running a nonprofit chess company for about 10 years. We've taught over 3,000 kids how to play chess. Some went on to win national titles. But yeah, it really taught me, working with the children really taught me how to capture their imagination with storytelling.
And when you're writing, I know, you know, from what limited chess knowledge I have in playing chess, you got to think ahead. You got to think 3 or 4 moves ahead. You got to try to look into the future a little bit. Is that how you approach the writing of this book too? Is trying to think ahead with those surprising plot twists?
You know, it's funny. I would finish a chapter and I didn't know where I was going the next chapter. So I would like to say that I had it all thought out, but I really didn't.
Well, it sounds like it's going to be an amazing read. Now, where can folks find this book?
It's available on Amazon and all bookstores. You can go to my website, Kodiak, King of the Grizzlies, and read about the backstory and more about me, and get some excerpts from it.
All right, Tom Callaghan, thank you so much for taking some time with us. Thank you for sharing the story of Kodiak, King of the Grizzlies.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Chris.
You're welcome. It is Kodiak, King of the Grizzlies. We got the information for you on how you can find that book right there on the screen.